Trigger warning. This episode contains descriptions of violence, disturbing themes, and sensitive subject matter that may not be suitable for all listeners. Please use discretion, and if at any time you feel uncomfortable, we encourage you to pause or skip this one. Your well-being always comes first.
All right.
I am all right, thank you. Are you all right?
I'm all right. Yeah.
Great.
Getting over the last of this, whatever it was.
Disease.
Yeah. Everyone kept saying it was COVID. And I was like,
It could be. It's
do we
making its
know?
rounds.
Yeah. I mean, do we know? I don't know. Unless I get tested, won't know. Could just be
Maybe.
a bad cold.
Absolutely. It always goes round, doesn't it? Because of the changing weather. But alas, we survive.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
We
yeah.
thrive.
Yeah. We're thriving and surviving. Yeah. And never more so than at the moment in the world for Perplexed Podcast.
Yes, we are thriving.
We are.
Well, in our little bubble, we are.
Yeah. In our little perplexed world,
Yeah.
doing really well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you know what happened to me in my personal world?
Oh, what happened in your personal world?
I only went and won an award, didn't I?
Oh, you did.
The winner of the John Voden Volunteer of the Year Award, sponsored by MTS Health Limited, is Sarah Harvey.
I only went and won.
Yes. You did. You only went and won, didn't you?
I only went and bloody won it.
You thought if I'm going, I'm winning.
Well, you know me. Don't do things by half, do I? Just fucking put my all into everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, bloody
amazing.
won. Yep.
So can we see your award?
Yeah, let me go and get it.
All right, go on.
From its display case guarded by devils.
Oh yes. Here it is.
Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
It's so big, I might not be able to get it all on camera, but
Oh goodness.
are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, it's so lolly.
It's like a proper award, isn't it?
Yeah, it says winner on it and everything.
That's because of one. It says Sarah Harvey, winner, the John Voden Volunteer of the Year Award.
Very fancy.
Oh, yeah, that's what I am now. I am, ladies and gentlemen, an award-winning podcaster.
Yes, yes, you are.
Absolutely.
You definitely are.
Voted for by the public. I am also the People's Choice Award.
Oh, yes. By the public, for the public.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
I'm like bloody Princess Diana.
Pretty much, yeah.
I love Princess Diana. If I could be a small bit like her, that'd be great. I love her.
She's amazing. I know. I was looking at a video of William yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, he is so much like her."
Yeah,
he really is.
Yeah,
and I think he'll be a good king.
He absolutely will be.
Not Wenceslas, though.
Not what?
Not Wenceslas.
I don't know what that is.
You know, good King Wenceslas.
I don't know what you're saying.
What?
I don't know what you're saying.
What?
Wenceslas.
Yeah. Ask Josie if she knows what good King Wenceslas is.
She's not gonna know.
Ask her.
Nobody knows. Jose, do you know what good King Wenceslas is? No, she doesn't know.
Oh, for the love of God.
Good King Wenceslas. Oh, she does know.
Oh, there you go.
I know Kate said it, and I've got no idea what it is. She's got no idea. No, you've made that up, Kate.
There'll be millions, because we get millions of people listening. There'll be millions of people all around the world going, "Oh my God, how can you not know what good King Wenceslas is?"
I don't know what it is. I bet there's millions of people around the world going, "What the fuck is she on about, Wenceslas?"
Good King Wenceslas is a Christmas carol.
Is it?
How can you not know the Christmas carol, Good King Wenceslas?
Listen, I'm sorry this is making you so angry, but I just don't know.
Unbelievable.
I am really sorry.
All right.
But
well, I shall attempt to send you something so you can listen to it and then go, "Oh yeah." I bet you'll hear it and go, "Oh, I do know this,"
Yeah.
But I
Oh no,
thought
under
it
a
was
different
something
name.
completely different. Yeah.
Yep.
Something
Yep.
made up.
Cool. Well, I just wanted to put out a thank you to everybody that congratulated me on my award, and also random lambs. Go. So, touching on the whole award thing, somebody asked, I believe it was another Sarah,
Oh, yeah.
asked, what did I get the award for? Who the fuck's giving me an award?
Did she add on, because it's not podcasting? Because if she did,
No, she would
listen.
never. No, she said, can you explain more about what you do in one of your random blams? So here it is.
No.
So basically, I volunteer at the hospital that treated me and my cancer and that cured me of my cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I volunteer 1 day a week. And I did start off on the wards and just talking to people, sitting and talking to people, because I found that when I was having treatment, the only people that really talk to you are the nurses or the hospital staff, and they ask you questions about your treatment. Have you vomited today? How's your poo? How many times have you been to the toilet? That sort of thing. It's not actually very personable. So when I had somebody come, it was the chaplain actually. He came and sat next to us. I saw him coming. I thought, Jesus Christ.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I was like, oh, I don't want him coming over like preaching. And I thought he was literally there because we're in a room full of people that are potentially dying. And I thought, I don't want him.
I don't want to be going down that route.
Be preached at. And he came over and he was like, oh, what are you reading? And I was like, oh, Harry Potter.
You read the Bible. I mean,
not the Bible. And he spoke to me about all things that weren't related to my treatment. And we just had such a lovely conversation. And it made such a difference to be sitting in that room having, because the chemo room is just diabolically depressing. And nobody talks, nobody says anything, everybody's really poorly. So I was like, oh, I don't even want to be here. And obviously I was the youngest one there. So I was just sitting cross-legged, reading me Harry Potter, eating my sweets. So to have a conversation, it meant quite a lot to me. So that is what I do. And the hospital is a place where it can be quite daunting for a lot of people. It can be a place where people as loved ones have died and it's been quite traumatic for them. So I just want to make things a bit easier for people. If I can make them laugh, or if I can, just have a conversation that changes their perspective.
Yeah, just make the time go faster, because it's like you're in there, like some people are in there for like hours and hours and hours and hours. My mum would sit in there for 6-7 hours at a time. And I think to have someone there that can just chat to you and also has been through it makes a massive difference.
Yeah. So that's what I do. But I drive the little buggies as well, because the hospital is quite far away from the car park. Right. So we've got these little, they're golf buggies. They're electric and they're left-hand drive. And I pick people up from the car park and I take them up to the hospital. And
that's
pick
wicked.
them up and take them back to the car and stuff. Yeah, so that's what I do. And I won Volunteer of the Year because obviously I'm fucking amazing.
Well, rightly deserved, Poddy.
Yeah,
rightly deserved. That is brilliant.
Yep. But that's my random blam, anyways.
Oh, that's brilliant. Mine is nothing like that, but
yours is related to the episode.
Is it? Yes. Well, mine is the word lunatic comes from the Latin word lunatic. I can't even pronounce it. Lunaticus, meaning the moon or moonstruck. So werewolves are lunatics. Literally.
Yeah, so the word came about, didn't it? Because people felt that the moon could affected people's behaviour.
Yeah, so could turn people into a lunatic.
Well, that's why they were called lunatics, because they thought, the full moon's out and their behaviour's gone a bit crazy. And that's where the origin of lunatic came from.
I think that's accurate, because people say that about like kids and that as well, don't they? When the kids go a bit like bonkers and you think, oh my God, they're so difficult. Like yesterday, they were so difficult and so like weird energy about them and things like that. And people will say, well, yeah, it was a full moon, wasn't it? And
Oh.
you start hearing that and you think, yeah, you know, like tongue in cheek kind of thing. But I think there is something to it. Sometimes my mood can be really bizarre and erratic, and I have no idea why. And then someone goes, "Oh, it was a blood moon yesterday," and I'm like, "Oh," because I am actually a
Witchy.
werewolf. So,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
so it does affect me. Yeah. But there you go.
All right. Well, thank you. Random Lamb's done.
Done.
Okay. Well, I did discuss this in the previous episode, but the previous episode was a blam, so it didn't reach everybody's ears. So I just want to touch on it ever so slightly again. Not Halloween. October is
Halloween.
Halloween. October is not just the month of Halloween, it's also the month of breast cancer awareness. And we discussed the figures and things like that, and they are scarily high.
Yeah.
So October is a plea to everybody to just check yourself, male or female, young, old, whatever. Just check your boobs and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Because men that are listening, do you even know that you are able to get breast cancer as well? Because a lot of men don't. A lot of men don't know that. They think, well, I ain't got tits.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect me. It does.
It
does affect you.
Does. It can
So
form
sort yourself out.
Any form of breast tissue, whether there's a lot or a little.
Yeah.
So,
is it easier to notice in smaller boobies?
Yes, because they're not as dense. There's not as much breast tissue or fatty tissue to try and fill the lump through. So if you have got larger boobs, it can be more difficult to feel them, which is why if you're over the age of 50, you get regular mammograms. If you're under the age of 50, then I mean, even if you just want to go and get checked, if you just go like have a little feel up, and if you feel like anything's wrong, go to your doctors. They will send you to the breast clinic.
Yeah. Yeah, because timing is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the sooner are you all right?
Hot flush, can you tell?
I could see that going.
I let the steam come out of my ears.
Yeah. Time is of the essence. The sooner you can get these things checked, seen to, diagnosed, treated, the better it is. Yeah. So
what I've learned from my experience, what I've learned is that don't worry about being a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Don't worry about upsetting anybody. Don't worry about, they're going to think I'm an idiot. There's nothing there. I'm overreacting. I'm being a hypochondriac. Go and be a hypochondriac, because at the end of the day, if it saves your life, then
go and be a hypochondriac that lives.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's what I've learned. I go to the breast clinic at least once a week.
Yeah.
I've found something else.
If you feel like something's not right, sometimes you just need to push it.
Yeah, kick up a stink. Go and see somebody else.
Yeah, if it turns out to be nothing and you're being a bit of a hypochondriac, great. We would rather that for you. But if you feel your boobs and you think, I'm pretty sure that wasn't there last week, just go. Just go and get it checked. It's so important to get it checked early.
Absolutely. And
are we going to tell people where they can find such information?
Go on then.
We've been waiting to talk about this, and now we can, because by the time you all listen to this, you will have heard our advert for it. We have been working for months on a Perplexed podcast website. It's got mobile view, so you can view it on your mobile, you can view it on your computer, whatever. But it is awesome.
Oh my God, it's so awesome, guys.
There's so much to enjoy about it. And you'll hear it all on the advert. If you haven't heard the advert, we're releasing the advert as an episode, so you will be able to hear it. But it is so good. And on our main page, we have got all about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is October. And you can see there's helplines on there. There's a video about how to check yourself. So definitely check that out. But the website is just, there's so much on there. And we've had to kind of rein ourselves in a little bit and stop putting it all on like all at once and everything. But there's going to be things added to it all the time. Case files, episodes, all of the Blam episodes, but only if you're a subscriber. You can listen to all the episodes. You can watch all the YouTube videos if you go on the main page of it. If you're already a subscriber, you will get full access to the whole thing already. There's nothing else that you need to do other than receive our email that we've already sent to you with your login details on it. But honestly, you won't be sorry. It's got on the Blamily, which is the members only subscription part. There's case files, there's games, there's quizzes, there's oh god, I can't even think. There's all the Blam episodes, so you can listen to it all in one place. There's
blogs, there's blooper reels,
blooper reels. There's a book section with all the books on there that we speak about in the pod. There's books that Sarah and I like that you can have a look at and see if maybe you might like to read them as well. I actually had a dream about that. I dreamt that I bought that book that you love.
You should.
The Killing Hour, is it?
Oh my, honestly, that's my favourite book. I've read it about 7 times. It's so good.
I had a dream.
You'd love that. I'll buy it for you. I'll send it to you.
Oh, thanks. Use our link.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually.
So, so with that in mind, if you want to buy any of the books, if you use our link to buy it, it means that you're further supporting the pod. There is also a merch section on there.
Oh my god, there's a merch section.
Oh my god, and that is going to be ever growing. Because honestly, I've had to really rein myself in with the amount of stuff that we were putting on there. I was making all this stuff and I was like, oh my God, that looks so good. Putting that on there and tweaking process. Absolutely. So it will be forever tweaked because I can't really leave it alone. I have tried, but I can't. So it will be tweaked all over the place. There, you can send Mothman with a message to us. So honestly, I can't express.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
We could literally talk for hours about it, but we have got an advert that will explain everything in more detail.
That's true. So, go and listen to it. It's already out. By the time you listen to this, the advert's already out. So yeah.
If you've got any questions, just to get in touch via the website.
Lolly.
Yes. But right. So yeah, that's so exciting. But yeah, let's crack on.
Let's episode.
Morning. Gosh,
morning.
Angelic. Gosh, that's such a difference from last week's morning.
Oh, I know. I got my voice kind of back.
Yeah. So, as you know, it is Halloween season, so we are doing spooky Halloween episodes. And what better an episode to do than the story that quite literally inspired the most gruesome of horror movies. The story that is quite literally the stuff of nightmares. Today we are doing Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield.
Nice.
Now, we don't necessarily class ourselves as a true crime podcast. We are a podcast that discusses the most perplexing aspects of everything. But my most favourite topic is the perplexing aspect of human behaviour. Love it. What drives us to do the most unspeakable crimes? So the aim of today's episode is not to promote the story of Ed Gein.
Oh my God, no.
Not to poke fun at the victims, but across 2 episodes, we will delve into the story and then into the depths of who Ed Gein was to try and understand what drove him to do the things that earned him the name the Butcher of Plainfield. So Plainfield is a small farming village located in Wisconsin. It was first founded in 1848 by Elijah Waterman when it was originally named Norwich. Which I thought was interesting because Norwich is just up the road from us.
Yeah.
So Mr. Waterman mapped out the small village and then set up home. And in order to attract people to the newly formed village, he offered free plots for people to come and build their homes. So the village quickly flourished and was renamed Plainfield after Mr. Waterman's hometown in Vermont. There is a Plainfield in Vermont. The first general store was opened in 1855. And by 1869, there were 11 businesses, which now included 3 stores, 2 blacksmith shops, and a tailor shop. In 1901, the village built its first fire station. And in 1902, the finest school building in the county was built, costing a staggering £11,000.
Wow.
So the town was growing and attracting new families from all over. And in 1914, it became the home to one of the most notorious names in history. But before that came to light, Plainfield was just a community of farmers, hard workers. It was considered quite a poor community with everyone living an almost equal life. No one had more than anybody else. It was a quiet village, and everyone knew everyone type of village, where nothing out of the ordinary ever happened. Certainly nothing like murder. But strange things started to happen in the area. It started in 1947 with the disappearance of 8-year-old Georgia Weckler. On Thursday, May 1st, 1947, Georgia had finished school and been given a lift home by a neighbour. She dropped Georgia off at the top of the drive. Being a farmhouse, it was set back about half a mile from the road. But it was a half a mile that Georgia walked every day. However, this time, Georgia never made it back to her house. By the evening, a full night search was launched with all residents pitching in to help find the missing girl. Business owners gathered up their funds and offered an $8,000 reward for information. The only clue ever to come to light was the sighting of a Ford sedan, which had been seen backing out of the lane shortly after Georgia had been dropped off by her neighbour. When this was investigated, the sheriff found deep ruts and skid marks from the vehicle's tyres in the ground, indicating that the vehicle had taken off in a hurry. Nobody was named a suspect. No one in the area could even contemplate that it could be one of their own that had taken a small child, and little Georgia was never seen again. On November 1st, 1952, just a few years later, 43-year-old farmer Victor Bunk Travis, a resident of Adams County just west of Plainfield, said goodbye to his young wife of just 2 months and went off to hunt deer in the company of one of his friends named Ray Burgess. At some point in the late afternoon, the two stopped for beers at Mac's Bar in Plainfield for several hours of drinking and chatting. At around 7 p.m, he left the bar, got into his friend Ray Burgess's car and drove away. And that was the last time anyone ever saw them. The two hunters, along with the car that Ray was driving, simply disappeared. For a small town where nothing ever seemed to happen, it seemed that a lot of things were happening. On October the 24th, 1953, 15-year-old Evelyn Hartley disappeared from a nearby La Crosse County home while babysitting a 20-month-old little girl for a family friend. Evelyn's father called the house around 8:30 p.m. to check in on his daughter and received no answer. After several failed attempts, he decided to drive over and make sure she was safe. When he arrived, he found the door to the house locked. He knocked on the door, peered through the windows, called Evelyn's name, and still nothing. He broke into the house and found that the radio was on. The lights of the home were on, and there were items scattered around the living room. Furniture had been moved from its normal location. Evelyn's school books were scattered across the floor. This wasn't a normally messy house. As he searched through the house, he found Evelyn's shoes, one upstairs and one downstairs. He found his daughter's glasses upstairs, broken. He found the baby asleep upstairs in a cot, unaware of anything that might have happened. He also found that every room in the house had been locked, except a door leading to the basement at the back of the house. At the back of the house, he found a window missing its screen. The screen had been taken off and was leant against the outside wall. He also found a stepladder, opened and positioned against the open window. And then he found blood, inside and outside the home. A full-scale search was put out for Evelyn. 2,000 local residents helped in the search. Over 300 people were questioned and given a lie detector test, including many local boys from our high school. Evelyn was never found, nor was her body. In 1954, local tavern owner Mary Hogan disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Mary lived and worked at the tavern and only opened the bar up during the day to locals that she knew and trusted. She never allowed a stranger in her doors. She was last seen on the 8th of December around 4:30 p.m. A neighbour grew suspicious when she hadn't seen Mary and then went into the tavern to investigate. What she found wasn't Mary or Mary's body, but a large pool of blood with a quite obvious drag mark leading out of the tavern. Mary's obvious death shocked the town. Who would have wanted to harm her? Who in their little community would even be able to do such a thing? No suspects or clues emerged, and her disappearance just faded into the background. November 16th, 1957, 58-year-old Bernice Worden, owner of the local produce shop and also mother to Deputy Sheriff Frank Worden, disappeared from her store. That morning, the store had been open and running. However, it had been a very quiet day because that day had been the opening of deer hunting season. Everyone and their son was out hunting, so the town was extremely quiet. When folks started coming back from their hunt, they noticed that the store was closed. It looked like Bernice has closed up the store early and left in the store's pickup truck. That was also missing from round the back. When her son Frank arrived in town and heard everyone saying how strange it was that the store was closed, he grabbed the store keys and decided to pay his mother a visit at her store around 5 p.m. When he walked in, he saw immediately the place looked trashed. Stuff everywhere. Behind the counter, the cash register was open and missing. As he searched around for his mother, he came across a pool of blood on the floor. Drag marks trailing blood throughout the store to outside. A .22 caliber bullet casing lay ominously on the floor beside the blood. They could only assume had belonged to his mother. A tiny book next to the cash register gave the deputy the only clue he needed. A receipt for the last customer of the day. A customer he knew had been in the store the day before and had ordered some antifreeze to collect that morning. In his mother's handwriting was a till receipt for some antifreeze bought by local resident Eddie Gein. It appeared as though Ed Gein had been the last person to have bought something from Bernice. So Frank called in the town sheriff to investigate and immediately told him Ed Gein had something to do with her disappearance. Ed was the local town weirdo, a nice guy who kept to himself, a quiet, shy guy that sometimes said and did odd things. Odd enough for people to consider him strange, but harmless. Frank told the sheriff that Ed had recently been hanging around Bernice more than usual, pestering her, and had even asked her to go skating with him. He told the sheriff that Ed had been in the store yesterday and ordered some antifreeze to collect that morning. He had also asked Frank if he had planned on going hunting, making it now seem like he had asked that question to make sure Frank wouldn't be in the store, as he sometimes was to help out his mother. When questioning the locals around the area, one man said he had seen the store's truck reversing out and driving away. It hadn't been Bernice driving it, it had been a man. So, two sheriffs, Arthur Schley and Captain Schoperster, took a drive to the Gein family home, an isolated farmhouse on the edge of town. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, as far as they could see, but the evening was drawing in, and the light had started to fade. The Gein home was in complete darkness, and it appeared as though Ed was not home. Back in town, a crowd had started to gather with the news of beloved Bernice's disappearance. The name Eddie Gein passed among the residents in hushed whispers. The news reached another store owner, Irene Hill. She told one of the officers that Ed just happened to be at her house. Her son Bob was what some considered as a friend of Ed's, and currently he was with Gein at her house. Officer Chase and another drove over to the Hill house and found Ed outside in his truck, waiting for Bob to come out. It appeared as though the news of Bernice's disappearance had spread further than the town, and Bob had asked Gein to drive him into town to take a look. So the officers asked Gein to give him a rundown of his day, a blow-by-blow account of what he'd been doing up until that point. He says he's been to see Bernice in the morning. He'd picked up his antifreeze and left. He'd gotten home and done some jobs on the farm before Bob had come knocking on his door, saying that his truck was broken down and could he drive them into town, and that is now what he was doing. But just to be clear though, the officer says, "Sorry Ed, just run that by me again, bit by bit." So Ed recounts his day from start to finish again. But the second time just happened to be ever so slightly different from the first one. And the officer doesn't miss a beat. He pulls him up on it and he says, "Eddie, you didn't tell the same story that second time." Ed remains quiet, staring blankly at the officer from one to the other, until he finally says, "Somebody's framed me." Now, the officers hadn't even mentioned anything to Ed about Bernice, so they played dumb. "What do you mean somebody's framed you? Framed you for what?" And he says, "Mrs. Worden. She's dead, ain't she?" He says he had heard about Bernice's disappearance and assumed someone would frame him for it as he was the town oddball. This doesn't wash with the officers though, so they take him down to the station for some more questioning. Meanwhile, officers head back to Ed's home to try and search for evidence of what had happened to Bernice. Officers find the front door locked, so they make their way around the home, trying the back door and windows to try and gain entry, but no luck. It's actually quite a large house. It's not just a front of the house, back of the house type. But they eventually find an unlocked door to the side of the house. This area was known as the summer kitchen. A summer kitchen, from what I can gather, is a small, sometimes detached building used for cooking in the summer, so that the extra heat from cooking doesn't enter the home. So people would be cooking on these huge stoves over like open wooden fires. So it would have generated a huge amount of heat and smoke that would have made an unair-conditioned home incredibly unbearable. Ed's farmhouse didn't have electricity. It didn't have indoor plumbing, and it was now quite late and very dark. The officers entered the summer kitchen with only the aid of the moonlight coming in through the windows. It is pitch black, but Officer Schley has a torch. He wanders slowly around the room, sweeping his torch across the floor, straining his eyes for clues of Bernice. He steps back, and his back hits something solid, and it frightens him for a second. He assumes he's bumped into one of the other officers in the dark, but his torchlight in front of him picks up the only other person with him. He slowly turns to see what he's made contact with, casting his torchlight from floor to ceiling. He's shocked to see, in the darkness of everything else around him, his torchlight picked up a ghostly white silhouette, something large hanging from the ceiling in front of him. His eyes recognized it for what it was before his brain could register it. A woman's naked body, hung from the rafters upside down via a bolt that had pierced her Achilles tendon. He shone his torchlight down the length of her body, highlighting the ghastly split that opened her from the pubic bone all the way down to where his torch should have come to highlight her face, if it had been there. But it wasn't. The body had been completely decapitated. All organs had been removed. She was just hanging from the ceiling, dressed out like a deer after a hunt, ready for the skin to be removed and the meat separated from the bone. He runs out of the summer house and vomits, soon to be joined by the captain. Never fully recovering from the shock, but regaining some composure, they radio the station and request backup to search the rest of the house, along with portable generators and lights to help them see. They head back into the summer kitchen and continue searching. They find a human heart in a plastic bag, just chucked on top of the stove in amongst piles of rubbish. They find intestines and organs still warm, wrapped up in newspaper and bundled up into an old suit, before eventually uncovering her head, stuffed in a burlap sack you would normally keep potatoes in and wedged between two mattresses. The head of Bernice Worden. A single gunshot wound to the back of her head visible, along with hooks driven deep into her ear canals, attached via a piece of string at the back as though intended to be displayed on the wall. With the rest of the team arriving with lights, the officers make their way through the summer kitchen door and into the main house. Armed with a more powerful source of light, the officers could see the full extent of the Gein home. It was disgusting. So much rubbish everywhere, it was hard to see the floor. It was in complete disarray. Furniture knocked over, newspapers strewn everywhere, rat droppings on everything, and the smell was overpowering. The smell of dirt, grime, a place left to rot, along with the unmistakable smell of decay. One of the first things the officers noticed was a large oil can sitting on a shelf, full to the brim of chewed and discarded chewing gum. Next to the can was the collection of old, yellowed, cracked dentures. As the officers began to explore deeper into the filth and squalor of the Gein home, the more depraved things they started to uncover. On the kitchen table, amongst the filth, was half a human skull. The top sawn off from the bottom to make a bowl, remnants of a meal of beans clearly visible inside. Whole bones and bone fragments scattered around the place. Whole skulls lay abandoned just here and there around the kitchen. An officer shone his light across a chair that he couldn't quite figure out. Something just didn't look quite right. A simple wooden chair, the base upholstered with a piece of fabric stretched across the base and riveted in place. On closer inspection, the officer was able to make out that the piece of fabric wasn't the traditional leather, but a huge square of human flesh. The legs made from human bones. In the corner of the room, a cardboard box with something shining ghostly white in the light. The officer bends down to retrieve the item, his fingers barely able to touch it when he realised what it was. The preserved face of Mary Hogan, removed from her skull in one piece. 8 more of these fully skinned death masks were found around the home, some with bright red lipstick, others with rouge on the cheeks, along with 5 full women's heads. Assorted pieces of human skin were found, some between the pages of magazines to flatten. The largest piece, rolled up on the floor, was the front upper section of a woman's torso. an oil lamp on the table, the shade made from various pieces of flesh, a box containing 4 noses, a box containing feet cut off at the ankle, and a set of 2 drums like tom-toms topped with human skin stretched tightly across them to make different sounds. Literally nowhere around this room was safe for the officers to look without seeing something made from human flesh. A pair of lips had even been fashioned into a grip for the pull cord on a blind that covered the window at the front of the house. And that was just in the sitting area. Officers had the rest of the house to search yet, and as they made their way through, they came across 3 locked doors. If he would be so bold and brazen to leave all these grisly discoveries out in the open, what on earth could be hidden behind these locked doors? But when they broke down the doors of these rooms, police found them in pristine condition, apart from layers and layers of dust on every surface. These rooms had belonged to his mother and had been kept as a shrine to her after her death, untouched by his filth. They leave these rooms and head to the room that Ed called his bedroom. This room reflected the mess and chaos of the kitchen, and here they made even more horrifying discoveries. Noticeable straight away was the metal bed frame. Collapsed, broken, dilapidated. But what stood out were the skulls placed on each of the 4 bedposts. Officers uncovered a corset made from the skin of a woman, stripped from shoulder to waist, sewn together along with ribbon to cinch the waist. Stockings made from real foot and leg skin, sewn together to easily slide on. A matching outfit for the corset. A huge chest piece, complete with breasts and shoulder straps, an easy way to lift it onto the shoulders. Belts made out of strips of human flesh, and most disturbingly, a belt made entirely of women's nipples, sewn together with such delicacy. Jewellery, bracelets made from thin, delicate strips of flesh just littered the sides. A complete set of fingernails ripped from the hands of women, next to a pair of gloves stitched together from the flesh of the same hands. And under his bed, in a small box, were 9 vulvas. 9 women's sex organs, one of which was so fresh it could only have been taken from the body of Bernice Worden. Some had been painted silver, others had ribbons sewn neatly into it, a strap making it easy to tie in place. It was clear to the officers that these garments had been made to wear. It took the officers 12 hours to fully go through everything at that house, working through the night before finally ending the search. They had arrived to search for clues to the mysterious disappearance of Bernice Worden, and left with even more of a mystery. The faces of at least 9 different women and body parts to countless more. Did they have a serial killer on their hands, the likes of which they had never encountered? The term serial killer hadn't even been coined by that point. It was believed that people killed for love, killed for jealousy, killed for anger. No one could believe that somebody would kill for the enjoyment or the macabre things that they could make out of flesh. Ed had been taken in for questioning at the county jail not too far away, and by the time Officer Schley arrived, after 12 hours of sorting through the horror that Ed had been hiding in his house, he was pissed. He was traumatized. He was not in his right mind.
Yeah.
He found out that Ed had hardly spoken at all, hadn't confessed, hadn't acknowledged anything. So Schley went into that interview room and beat the shit out of Ed.
Oh, really?
Slamming his head into the concrete wall until he was stopped by other officers.
Shit.
Ed does eventually start to talk.
I bet.
He confesses to the murder of Mary Hogan and Bernice Worden. saying that Bernice's murder had been an accident while he was cleaning a gun. He said that after her death, he had blacked out and didn't remember any of the mutilation of her body. When questioned about the other body parts in the house, Ed says that they came from graves of women that were already dead. He adamantly says that he didn't kill any other person because it wasn't the killing that he enjoyed. He didn't like the blood or the gore. And I'll be going into this a lot more in detail in the second episode about the confession and about the why. But Ed tells the officers that he, over the course of between 4 and 5 years, he visited grave sites at least 40 times, digging up the women's bodies and either taking the whole of them or just the parts that he wanted. He said he would sometimes black out and wake up digging the grave only to realise what he was doing. He would then put the grave back to how it was and leave. He said he would scan the newspaper obituaries for women of the age of 50 that had recently died and then find out where they were buried. When news of Ed's House of Horrors started to come out, no one in the area could believe Ed was capable of something like that. Not that he wasn't capable of skinning women and making these hideous things, but he was a slight man. He was shy. He was quiet. Nobody could believe that he had the strength-wise to even dig up a grave, let alone remove a body from it. So officers needed to verify his account. And the only way they could do that was to dig up the grave of one of the women or some of the women that he had mentioned to have taken. So this was a massive thing in the small town. Imagine an officer coming to your door and asking if they could dig up their loved ones to see if they had already been dug up and their parts used for making furniture.
God, that's hideous.
So some people didn't want to know. So they just denied the request. And in the end, it was decided it would be Mrs. Eleanor Adams. They found Mrs. Adams' grave just a few graves away from Ed's mother's, looking quite undisturbed. But they soon realised that it was anything but. The grave itself had been 6 feet deep, which would have been an incredibly arduous task for anybody to dig down. However, after just 2 feet of soil, the top of a wooden box that housed the casket was visible. The officers found that the box had been disturbed, the nails peeled back, and inside the casket lay nothing but a crowbar. Officers dug up one other grave, the grave of Maybelle Everson. They dug just 1 foot down before finding a jawbone, a section of skull, part of a leg bone, an upper and lower dental plate, some clothing, and a golden ring. And that was all they needed as proof that Ed had been telling the truth. But was he telling the truth about how many people he had murdered? Was it possible, out of all the horrors in that house, that Ed had only murdered 2 people? Officers started connecting the recent disappearances to Ed. Mary Hogan's face had been found at his home, and he had admitted to killing her. What about 15-year-old Evelyn Hartley? Or 8-year-old Georgia Weckler? After taking the body parts to be examined from the house, it was believed that 2 of the vulvas found had come from younger girls. So Gein was questioned about this. He adamantly denied having anything to do with the 2 girls' disappearance and passed numerous lie detector tests. However, it had come to light that Ed had been in the area visiting a family member at the time Evelyn went missing. But ultimately, it wasn't pinned on Ed. He was even questioned about the 2 missing hunters, Victor Travis and his friend Ray Burgess. Again, he denied having anything to do with it. However, Travis's jacket and his dog were found near Gein's farm after his disappearance, along with a skull containing a gold tooth, which officers believed would have come from a man. But again, Ed was never fully tied to this. Ultimately, Gein was sent for psychological testing and found to be insane, suffering from schizophrenia and being a sexual psychopath. When asked if he had had sex with the bodies of the women, he absolutely refused to say that he had, or he told the officers that he was still a virgin. There was no way he was having sex with those dead bodies. And the reason that he gave was that they smelled too bad. Gein was arraigned on a single count of first-degree murder for Bernice's death. He pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity and was determined unfit to stand trial. He was sent to Central State Hospital for the criminally insane and later transferred to the Mendota Mental Health Institute in Madison, which were both in Wisconsin. The items in his home were catalogued, photographed, and then disposed of as humanely as possible. The Gein farm was due to be auctioned off to the highest bidder, with fears of it becoming a tourist attraction. Ed's truck that he'd used to transport the corpses was sold to a carnival owner for $7,000, and he actually charged 25 cents per person at his carnival for people to have a little look. So you can imagine what the house was likely to become. However, a few days before the auction, the house mysteriously burnt to the ground. When Ed was told of this, his response was, "It's just as well." A second trial was held in 1968, 10 years later, after the staff at Central State Hospital concluded that Gein was fit to stand trial. He had been a model inmate, quiet. He'd kept to himself. He had spent his time there making furniture and doing arts and crafts. At his second trial, despite Ed's confession being thrown out due to police brutality, Gein was found guilty of the murder of Bernice, but in a follow-up proceeding was ruled to be not guilty again by reason of insanity. He was never tried for Mary Hogan's death, even though he admitted it, due to the cost that it would have incurred to charge him with her death. Similarly, no charges were ever filed over his grave robbing or corpse mutilation. Gein spent the rest of his life in the Mendota Mental Health Institute and died there in 1984 at the age of 77 from complications related to lung cancer. Ed's horrendous crimes went on to spur such creations as Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's Norman Bates with his mummy issues was everything Ed Gein had been. Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who walked around in a face mask skinned from his victims. But who was Ed Gein, really? What drove him to commit these awful crimes? A quiet, shy boy in a small town, a handyman employed by the locals to do odd jobs and babysit their children, who pranced about in a bodysuit made from real female skin on a full moon. We will be getting into the who's, why's, where's and what's in part 2. So if you're listening to this thinking that I've missed out some crucial information, it is all in part 2. So make sure you listen.
Well, I'll be there.
That's great news.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of information because I've done this part is in the perspective of the town. This is the part that the police saw. This is the part that everybody knows. But there is also another part. There is the part of Ed Gein's life. There is the part of what led up to all of these things, what Ed was thinking while all of this was happening.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to be part 2. So it's going to be a look at Ed's side of things.
Well, that's what's so perplexing, isn't it? Is that we don't do these things to glorify the murders or the murderers. It's not about that. It's about the fact that we are so perplexed as to what makes someone do that. Why would like this human, as in me, get up in the morning and record a pod, or get up and go to work, take the kids to school, do the shopping, come back, feed the cats, feed the dog, do things like that? What makes someone else that's got the same like anatomy as every other human, do you know what I mean? What makes them get up, go out, kill someone, take them back to their house, mutilate their bodies, make furniture out of it. Like, why? Like,
that's it, isn't it? You can almost understand the enjoyment to kill. I need to go out and kill it because I am powerful man and I have control over women and I am doing this because this is what I enjoy doing. You can almost understand it a little bit, but the aspect
understand it, yes, agree with it, absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But the aspect of why has he made a chair from women's flesh? Why, these things are the what the fuck type of thing.
Yeah.
Why? So in the next episode, it's really, really going to be delving into the psychology of the why, how he grew up and what influenced his decisions and what made him to be this way. Or was he just born this way? Was it innate? Was it something that he was born with and that's what transpired? Or was he a product of his upbringing?
Yeah, because this is nature nurture to its extreme as 100%. Well, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, part 2 is good. We're going to be getting into the nitty gritty of the who, what, where, why, what the fuck. Yeah.
Oh, good. No, I look forward to that. Thank you for that, because that's not an easy subject to research.
Yeah, I which is
it's a bit Blair, isn't it?
But I don't feel that way, which is why I do these ones, because I don't
comes from the author of the episode Cannibal Cafe.
Yeah. And the walk through the morgue. Those things, I don't get sickened by them. I get interested.
I am interested, but I am also sickened by it.
Yeah, I don't. My tummy doesn't do anything. I'm absolutely fine to research and to tell these in as much detail as it actually happened, because that's a gory thing to do. Imagine splitting somebody open from a pelvis to sternum and decapitate. Imagine the gore and the horror that comes with that. That's awful.
Yeah, I mean that's what surprises me, because he said he didn't enjoy the murder.
Yep.
Because he didn't like the blood.
Yep. And that's why he told people that he didn't go deer hunting, because he just couldn't deal with the horror of murdering a deer and eviscerating it and things. So
yeah.
But yeah, so we'll look at, why just those 2 women? Was there anybody else?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. And why did he choose to rob graves instead of going out and killing women? And if he didn't enjoy killing, why did he kill those 2?
Yeah,
so we're really, really going to get into the psychology of it all as much as we can, not being psychologists.
Well, yes. We are, however, professionals. Award-winning, some of us.
Oh,
yes.
Here it is.
Award-winning, some of us.
Scratch that off and say podcaster of the year.
Yeah. Well, let's make I'll 3D print you one.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to next week's episode.
Same. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to being able to ask some questions and get your view on it.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you very much, Poddy.
That is okay.
And
see you next
thank
week.
you all for you joining us. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
If you have enjoyed listening to our episodes, make sure you rate us and leave us a review on whatever platform you are listening.
We absolutely love hearing from you guys. So you can also help support our show by donating to our Buy Me a Coffee link. We will make sure that you get a massive shout out and a big thank you in our next week's episode.
You can also follow us on social media at Perplexed Podcasts. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to see more videos and blooper reels, subscribe to our TikTok and YouTube channels.
You can also email us your stories at perplexedpodcasts@gmail.com.
And you can find all the relevant links in the episode descriptions. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
So how have you all been? Now it's just us. Hope you've been well. I have been well, or weller than I was last time. Oh, it's boiling.